Hi everybody, welcome to my second video in terms of how to on my leatherworking project. So today we're going to make something again. I just came across it while gaming on the PS4. I was playing a game called A Plague Tale, and it was something that I could do with the limited amount of tools I had, mainly not being able to do any painting of myself or painting, dyeing of the leather, and no stamping tools, nothing to do buttons and stuff like that, or click buttons anyway, or rivets. So looked great. So basically the design I'm going to make today is this. As you can see, it's kind of a 13th century style cloak or hood. I'm going to be using mainly me as the model, with help of friends, and hopefully it's kind of a one size fits all, so I'll test it out on different models, different statures, and we'll go from there and see. Hopefully I can sell a few of them if they are very regular size. Anyway, first things first is making a template to actually make this. So a lot of my ideas come from looking online, from games, computer animated, or anything like that. So there's no real design for it. It's kind of like cosplay, looking at a character and seeing how it can be made. So the tricky thing is that obviously the artists or game designers don't really have to take into account physics when they're designing this, so how cloth goes and all that kind of stuff. And this seemed easy, but it was actually a bit trickier in terms of how to fit it. So I enlisted the help of a friend of mine, and over the space of 2 hours we kind of came up with a mock-up design. So without further ado, let's have a look at how I created the stencil. And before I do that, actually, where did I put everything? So often, okay, in terms of how I make the stencils, often what I do, and I did this for my wrist guard for my bow, and I basically just took paper, wrapped it around, and then kind of wrapped it in masking tape to get the shape, and then you cut it off and then you have kind of the shape. Now I tried this on myself with paper, and the paper just isn't pliable enough. It doesn't really work that well. We could have probably made it work, but with all the kind of creases, stuff like that, it didn't really work. So I bought a bunch of tea towels. So we're literally going to use tea towels and kind of wrap them around, put them together, and hopefully that way we can kind of come up with a design. And oh, I just threw that away. Or we'll do it kind of, you know, yeah. How's that? Cool? Yeah. So anyway, without further ado, let's get started in terms of designers. Is to actually use, I think it's called sellotape, where that kind of sticky see-through wrapper stuff, wrap it around the area, and then use duct tape. Now I prefer masking tape because it's cheaper than duct tape, and you can use a pencil on it, which I don't think you'd be able to do on duct tape, so you'd have to use a marker, although I do use markers on the marking tape as well. However, I haven't tried this out yet. I'm trying to find somebody who'd be willing to let me work on those areas, but I want to do a full outfit, full armor, especially female armor. So then for like the lower area and this area, I think that sticky wrapper and the duct tape might actually work out better because it's a little bit more pliable, but I didn't really want to like cellophane my whole face in order to do the hood. So hence we're going with tea towels. Cool.
Alright, so basically what I'm doing here, and I have to say, neither me nor my friend know what we're doing at this stage. Neither of us are tailors, so basically what we're doing is we're using bobby pins. Sorry, not bobby pins. We're using stitching pins, and we're literally just putting the cloth together, tying them together, and then hoping that things kind of start looking. And as you can see here, it is actually starting to look fairly like a hood. So there's quite a bit of back and forth, kind of readjustment, and even once I start working with the leather, there's still quite a bit of adjustment to be made. But yeah, that's the process.
Hello everybody. I kind of forgot to film a little bit of it again. So we finished off the mock-up as you saw with the cloth and all that kind of stuff. I did some more tweaks on it. Basically it was a bit of a process. And then what I started doing is, we drew out all the lines on the cloth of where kind of the cuts would be. So you can kind of see here, line there, and then like different, it's very hard to see. But yeah, so, and then for instance for the hood, so this is the hood. I started cutting without forgetting to kind of film it. So hood. So what I did is, first of all, I kind of took the hood off, as that was the easiest part. And then, as is my want to do, especially because this is kind of now very thick and multiple layers of cloth and it's all crumpled, so you could kind of use this as your stencil, but I'm also hoping to make these more and potentially sell them, so this is kind of a bit messy. So what I did is I literally traced it over onto my paper, and this looks massive on paper. So it's going to be interesting. As I said before, probably I'm very much an amateur and I figure things out as I go along. But basically what I did is I laid this onto the paper, and then using my marker I just went around. So it does look absolutely massive on the paper. Now there's two things you can do, because it's basically a lot of this stuff is mirroring. So this is going to be, as I said, hood 1, it's the right hand side, so if I flip that over, then it's going to be the left hand side. Now in terms of saving masking tape, because I'm running out already, I might do that, but what I tend to do is just make 2 separate stencils, just because in the past I have kind of used one that is a mirror, and then you forget to turn it around, and then you cut 2 right hand sides, and that's not good, because then you can't really use it. Anyway, so basically, again, so this part I cut it off. So what we did is cut that whole kind of shoulder piece in half, and again, most of this is going to be mirrored. So this is the back section, the back right. So the back right, so this is basically the middle of my back. Back right is going to be mirrored on the back left, and then same as the shoulder piece. So this line here is literally the half of the shoulder, so that's going to be mirrored, and that's where the differences is going to start. So the front 2 pieces are very different, so these 2 basically mirror again, and then we're going to have to kind of figure things out for those pieces. So again, literally, which side is that? Yeah. So this is what we're gonna do. Kind of make some room here so I can actually show you this. And again, just saving paper. So I was literally a little bit off an A4, so just taped it to the other one. And then literally what we do, we lay it as flat as possible. So we're going to, and it doesn't really matter that much if you get a bit more. We're going to want to expand on this anyway. So you're going to want to add at least half a centimeter, if not a centimeter, for the stitching lines later on. So this is just going to be the there you go. You've got your rough line. And this is back one, and that is the right hand piece. Alright, and then we go to the next section. Right, so I've cut out most of the pieces, at least like for the right hand side. So cut out all the pieces, even the front. Now, as I said before, most of these you can just mirror, so that's what I'm going to do. Either using the paper itself once I cut out that specific template and reverse it. The only thing we can't duplicate is the front. So the front right and the front left are going to be very different because one's going to go over the entire side and the other one's going to go under. So this kind of brought to me a little bit of a problem, and so here I have the whole left side, and this would be it. So this would go somewhat like this. And then this piece is to have a button on the inside here, but basically this is the front. And so I was like, okay, where to cut this off then? Because that was a little bit weird. So what I'd done is I'd taken my two back pieces. So back piece one, reverse it, put it on there. So this is the middle of the back, and then reverse back piece two from the right hand side. Put that there, and then I drew a line across. Now the other thing I noticed now is that this extends quite a bit further than this really is at the moment. So I might add that a little so you can see that it will be kind of going like that. So I'm going to keep that in mind in a minute. But so basically I'm going to cut this now. And then trace that template as well, but I just wanted to add a quick note on that. So if you do have like asymmetry somewhere, don't just go cutting, but make sure wherever it goes into the symmetrical stuff it lines up. Right, welcome back. So last time we transferred the mock-up to our templates. We measured out our templates. So as you can see from there, I have in the meantime acquired lots of leather. So I got 2.5 skins, which I'm hoping will be enough. And what we're going to do now then is kind of finish off our templates. So what we're going to do, so I've already got an example here. So what I've done, so we kind of cut out each of the templates that I'd made. I'd given them different numbers, and I have decided to kind of go with, I'll just turn it around, so I've kind of added masking tape to the back and given that a different number. So I'm basically going from back right 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, and then 8 and 9 for the hood. So at least then I won't lose track of how and what. So yeah, so basically what I'm doing is I'm adding a centimeter on top of the edge of each of the templates, and this will be used to either stitch the seams to stitch them together. So for instance, these two will come together, and then you'll bend this over and kind of sew them on that line. And on the other side, I'm going to fold it over and again stitch it so that you have a nicer kind of edge, so kind of nice and rounded edge as opposed to the cut off edge. But you'll see that later on. So let's get started on finishing off all these templates so we can finally start working on the leather.